Ladies and gentlemen, our next story is one we've been following for the last 1 month. The West Bengal teachers' recruitment scam has seen a sensational turn today. The Supreme Court of India has stayed the Calcutta High Court's order that the appointment of 25,000 teachers be revoked. Now, this is supreme relief for 25,000 teaching and non-teaching staff of the state who are not just losing their jobs, but also salaries earned over the last 7 years. This was relief for Mamata Banerjee's government as well, as they are the ones who had gone knocking to the Supreme Court against the High Court's order. But there was also a supreme rebuke as the apex court has called the scam, and I quote, a systemic fraud. The Supreme Court expressed dismay over the fact that OMR sheets and their digital copies both had been destroyed. The advocate arguing on behalf of the West Bengal government admitted as much. The court didn't stop there. It said government jobs in any case are so scarce. And when something like this happens, when appointments are maligned, then the public loses faith. The apex court also said that the government had to maintain a supervisory control of the entire recruitment process, but it simply didn't. Essentially saying this was dereliction of duty. Question is, was it deliberate? All of this after the court found that the government didn't even know that their service provider had actually subcontracted another agency, essentially hinting at the lack of oversight by the West Bengal government throughout the selection process. More damaging for the TMC, the Supreme Court has given the CBI the go-ahead to continue with the probe. But while the CBI can probe the officials and the leaders involved in the scam, it cannot take any coercive action against any candidates or any government officials. Just a little background. Earlier, the Calcutta High Court had cancelled over 25,000 jobs that had come about through the 2016 state recruitment test, calling it illegal. It had also asked candidates to return their salaries since 2016, that they were paid since 2016, along with the interest of 12%. The Mamata Banerjee government, on the other hand, had maintained that appointments were cancelled arbitrarily and that the courts had been purchased by the Bharatiya Janata Party. However, much to her embarrassment, Mamata's own party man, Kunal Ghosh, dropped a bombshell saying that the government was well aware of the scam. There's another important question, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the debate. While livelihoods have been saved by the top court, justice remains pending. What about the candidates who actually deserved the jobs but didn't get it because the system was corrupt? My guest this evening, Rohi Ray, is spokesperson of the Bengal BJP. Joining us on the broadcast, Talish Ray is an advocate. Dr. Riju Dutta is spokesperson of the TMC. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Dr. Riju Dutta, I want to start with you. Please help me understand. Now, you've heard what the Supreme Court is saying. There is relief that the Supreme Court has given the West Bengal government. It has stayed the Calcutta High Court's order, which means the 25,000 jobs remain where they are. But the fact is, they haven't stalled the CBI probe. And more importantly, Dr. Riju Dutta, they are calling this scam a systemic fraud. Are we to believe that Partha Chatterjee was the only one who was the villain of this scam, and no one at the top knew what was happening, that the Chief Minister had absolutely no idea what was happening right under her nose?
Let me put my hand up first, and I've said this before, Shreya, on your channel multiple times. Partha Chatterjee was the kingpin of the scam, and under whom systematically this was done, and 90% of them are behind bars and are thrown out of our party. Point number one. Point number two, I will start off with, you have given all the comments by the Supreme Court, but the comment made by the Chief Justice of India is what we need to understand. He said, we are looking into this. We are not Abhijit Gangopadhyay. You remember Abhijit Gangopadhyay was the person who gave this order first in Calcutta High Court, who is a candidate of the BJP. My logic is this simple. There are candidates, there are teachers who are working for 8-9 years who have got their jobs illegally by paying a bribe. But there are 19,000 odd teachers who have got their jobs based on merit. So firstly, the judgment of the Calcutta High Court, and I have the right to criticize the judgment, was nothing short of a Tughlaqi judgment. And that has been stayed. And the remaining who are there, to accommodate them and the people who are on the wait list, the government said we are going to create a supernumerary post and we are going to accommodate them all. The Supreme Court has said you can continue your CBI investigation. We have nothing against it. Let them investigate. What Trinamool Congress is saying is that, yes, there has been a wrong. We have taken action. These people are behind bars. They are thrown out of our political party. The real candidates, the merit-based candidates should get their livelihood back. And the illegal candidates, they have also sold their land, their jewelry, their everything to give to certain scammers. Let me finish. We will not take their livelihood. We are also trying to accommodate them and the others.
It is but Dr. Dutta, what? 2 points. 2 points. It's a question of humanity, you said. 2 points. A, how will you know who was the deserving candidate? How will we know? What happened in 2016 and later. All the OMR sheets have been destroyed. 1 minute. There are no digital copies. The advocate of the West Bengal government today has admitted as much in court. How will you know? And you keep bringing in Abhijit Gangopadhyay just because he's joined the BJP. Fact is, he's the one who ordered a CBI probe which has exposed the scam. Galat kya kiya usne? The scam got exposed after a CBI probe.
Galat nahi kiya, isliye. नहीं वो गलत कुछ नहीं किया वो दूध का धुला हुआ साधु आदमी है इसीलिए all these candidates sitting on the road have filed an FIR against him. Now let me come to your question, which is a valid question. Now let me answer you. See, that what we are saying is that the scam has happened. We are nobody to defend the scam, and that is why the party has taken a stand. That is why the court has ordered a CBI probe, and we are all for that probe. But my question is this. Why will you play with the livelihoods of people? Why did BJP and CPM lawyers, today morning, the case is between, the recruitment was done by SSC. You are saying, how can we differentiate when the OMR sheets are burnt out? The SSC, which is an independent body, today the Supreme Court have said, we have found out, and as per the CBI investigation also, Shreya, I will remind you, there is, CBI said 5,500, they said in High Court, SSC said 8,000 we have notified, that 8,000 have got illegal. So obviously the demarcation is there. On basis on that only the Supreme Court has given the stay order. But I am coming to the moot point here. The moot point here is, does anybody have the right, like the BJP lawyers and the CPM lawyers who flew to Supreme Court today so that you don't get a stay order, have the right to take away people's livelihood? That is the question.
No, people who paid a bribe to get that livelihood and cheated someone out of it. Who are you defending here? Dr. Riju Dutta. Who are you defending here? People who paid a bribe to get a job and denied someone who was deserving. Matlab, look at who you're defending also. Na? Anyhow, let Rohi Ray come in. Spokesperson of the Bengal BJP, joining us for the first time on Mirror now. They have the right to livelihood, but not by cheating others of it. Na? Rohi Ray, please go ahead.
Ma'am, firstly, adding to the humanity point that has been raised by Mr. Riju Dutta, just 3 days ago, an SLST candidate, Imran Hassan, he died of brain stroke. He was one of the pioneers of this entire anti-corruption movement. Wasn't humanity for him? And what humanity is he talking about? Here, Article 21, which protects the right to life and liberty, that is at stake. Article 21 guarantees right to education, that is at stake. Can you imagine the Supreme Court today said that the people who have been illegally appointed, the Supreme Court did not take away the job. We agree. But they have said that you have to put in writing that you have not taken the job illegally, and later on, if it is found that you have done some corruption, we will take that your payment. Can you imagine the level of mistrust that will be going in the students' minds, in the minds of the teacher? In India, we talk about Guru-Shishya relation, and this is what TMC has brought down to. Are they talking about this humanity? And what Mr. Riju Dutta said, 90% thing was done by Partha Chatterjee. The Calcutta High Court judgment, page number 215, point number 257, clearly states the supernumerary post was clearly made for illegal appointees, and this was clearly known by the cabinet. And if the cabinet knew all these things, how did they remain silent? I am not going into the entire details. And ma'am, if you want, even I can show you the cabinet memorandum that was signed for the supernumerary post. I'm not going into all these details of Parth Energy that the state government had no intelligence, Mamta intelligence, that Parth Energy was amassing huge amount.
ठीक है, Talish, ठीक है Rohit. Talish Ray, I'm getting you in. You're an advocate. This is what the Supreme Court has said. The Supreme Court has said, look, public sector jobs or government jobs in any case are so tough to come by. And when they are maligned like this, when they are seeped in dirt like this, they didn't use these words, but I am, then what trust will the public have? नौकरी सरकारी मिली है, corruption से ही मिली होगी और पैसा देके ही मिली होगी. So this is what the scam has done actually. And to my mind, I find it very difficult to believe that Partha Chatterjee was the lone wolf in this entire scam.
Right. So coming back to this, Shreya, now let's start with the entire body of judgments that we already have in terms of fairness in recruitment process. And repeatedly across cases from Ova Devi onwards to the YPM scam, it has been held that fairness in a recruitment process is concomitant to your right to equality under Article 14 as well as Article 16, which is the right to equal opportunity. So far as the question goes, when the courts will look at it, the Supreme Court is currently already looking at this matter. When we look at it as a court or when we look at it from the legal point of view, then you have to understand that when as a state you fail to maintain fairness in the process of recruitment, then you're violating the principles that have been put in the fundamental rights. And the courts in the past have also come down very, very heavily. So go back when we are talking about the Madhya Pradesh scam where all these doctors were asked to, their degrees were held as null and void. So, when you look at that and then you see the court statement today. So a couple of things that I do want to clarify here, that the court in today's order has basically said that the CBI will continue its probe as given in certain sections of the High Court judgment, but no coercive action would be taken. It has posted this matter for July and said that this is a matter of great importance and must be looked into. And various obitters were observed by the learned justices. But, when you see the entirety of it, it is not just about who has fairly gotten or unfairly gotten in. Because please remember that here's a process where the recruitment was through a test which was conducted by a third party. And so far as the state services are concerned, they're saying that, they hired somebody, the OMR sheets are now missing or they have been destroyed, which is where the court observed that the state must supervise and that they cannot outsource this right to equal opportunity in public employment, because once you lose that right to equal opportunity in public employment, then you're eroding from the very basis of the trust that exists in the system.
Dr. Riju Dutta, there was clear dereliction of duty. It was your job, it was the job of the Chief Minister of the state and the government of West Bengal to have supervised this recruitment process. They deliberately or otherwise just turned away as Partha Chatterjee was collecting money from helpless and hapless people looking for a government job.
On this point that you said, the Chief Minister of West Bengal appointed an education minister by the name of Partha Chatterjee. There is an independent board of the SSC where all of their top shot bureaucrats are behind bars, Partha Chatterjee is behind bars, and certain youth leaders of my party, ex-youth leaders who are now thrown out of the party, were involved in the scam. I cannot hide from it. I cannot shy away from it. There has been a mistake. There has been wrong. It has been a wrong. The jobs of
Dr. Dutta,
candidates.
Might I remind you that you continued to defend Partha Chatterjee till the day he was arrested? It was only after wads of cash came out from his residence did the TMC finally say, okay, he is guilty and we will not defend him anymore.
I am telling you one thing, rather than going into this whatever to share, today the BJP and all their spokespersons are holier than thou. Come 4th of June, if the government changes to find a spokesperson of BJP, you have to go to PR. The problem is these investigating agencies, the numbers show that 95% of them are against the opposition. But when these hoards of cash were recovered, what did Trinamool Congress do? 7 days. He was a cabinet minister. In 7 days, we threw him out of the party. Can any other party do that? Has done that? You tell me. You're one of the...
What choice did you have, Dr. Datta, when wads of cash Hordes of cash were coming out of his residence and his aide's residence. What choice did you have?
Can I ask you a question? This is a scam, correct? But this is minuscule compared to
Dr.
the
Dutta.
What choice did BJP have his choice against the Shivraj Singh Chauhan? He's again contesting. What happened to the witnesses of the weapon scam? The witnesses were shot dead or murdered. हम लोग तो फिर भी निकाल दिया. जो हम उंगली उठाते उन्होंने क्या किया?
ठीक है. So the Supreme Court will continue to hear the matter. For the moment, there is relief for the West Bengal government in the sense that the Supreme Court has stayed the order of the Calcutta High Court, which means that 25,000 plus teachers and support staff will continue to have their jobs. What happens later, we don't know, but the CBI continues to probe the case. Although no coercive action can be taken, that is where the story rests so far. We leave it there for the moment. Rohi Ray, thank you very much. Talish Ray, thank you very much. And Dr. Dutta, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. Thanks very much indeed.